it's Who Speaks Freely, and today we are out in Chelmsford covering another protest by the Pink Ladies. Today it's headed by the usual Orla Minihane and Sarah White. But in Chelmsford, I think this was the area in which Hadush Kabatu was accidentally released from prison when he was supposed to be going to a deportation centre. So it's going to be interesting today to see what the talks are going to be centred around, whether it's going to be the general cause, the hotels, or if it's going to be about the accidental releases of so many prisoners in the last few weeks. So we're going to get some interviews, we're going to see what's on people's minds, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Hi guys, I am here at the Pink Ladies event for two reasons. The first, pink is my favourite colour, and two, you know, the reality is you can't preach feminism and remain silent when women who are white are being assaulted.
Hello everybody, my name's Emma, I'm from Chelmsford, and obviously the Pink Lady protest is very important to me because who on the left can have a go at a lady wearing pink, protecting their borders?
I'm Maddie Clark. I'm here today because I'm quite new to journalism. I wanted to come out and see what's going on. Obviously this is a big story at the moment, all of these protests.
Yeah, wet, cold, and yet, you know, multiple women have still come out to the protest here today.
Every day we hear about more sexual assaults, more rapes, and tragically in the last few months we've heard about murders. And over here you see a table, and this table has got the pictures of girls that have been murdered, not just raped, not just assaulted, but murdered on the streets of this country.
Well, we're here supporting all the Pink Ladies to
All over the country.
To stop illegal immigration into this country.
And those murders would not have happened if the government had not let in the perpetrators, and that is a fact.
Yes.
It's not racist, it's not bigoted, it is a fact.
My name's Laura, I'm from Braintree area. I'm purely here today in support of women and our children.
And we're going to do this up and down the country because we have women contacting us from everywhere, from Inverness to Exeter, saying the same thing. Orla, why are these men being dumped in our community? We don't want them. There's been no risk assessment. No one's asked us. A lady called me the other day from Inverness, in the Highlands of Scotland. 400 men from foreign cultures dumped in their town. And she said some of the people have never left Inverness. They don't know what's going on. Who are these men? All the way down to Exeter. We've got a lady here from Crowborough, Kim, she's going to talk to you about what's happening in Crowborough. And then we've got Emma, who's going to talk to you about what's happening in Chelmsford, because I'm not from Chelmsford, I'm from Epping. This lady over here is not from Chelmsford, she's from Chesham. That lady over there is from Canary Wharf, but the thing is, we have all got the same problem. We all feel the same way, and we are all terrified about what is happening on our streets.
What's actually an interesting thing is that the Pink Ladies movement has always evolved in parallel with other demonstrations, and these aren't funded, they aren't backed by any organisation. I think that's a very much an American trope.
And the whole point of the Pink protest is that we give an environment where women, mothers and grandmothers and aunts and cousins can come together and feel safe and feel that they're in a secure environment where they can have their voices heard. And that's what the Pink protest is about.
The Pink Ladies protest, I think it means a lot. It's kind of spawned out of the protests over this summer, particularly in Epping and Canary Wharf.
It's just based off the aspirations and characters of the Pink Ladies, and I think we are broadening the scope of the conservative patriotic activism sort of space.
People say to me, why do you never talk about the white sexual predators? Why do you never talk to me about British men who rape women? And I say, because we have enough scumbags in our country as it is. We've got our own scumbags, our own predators and our own sex pests. We do not need to bring in more every day. Men from cultures that do not think like we do, who treat women like third-class citizens.
I think it's important that women are standing up against mass immigration and multiculturalism, and showing we've got to stop importing these people from cultures where they don't have the same values as us, where they go around killing people, where they go around marrying 9-year-olds, where they go around, they don't have our same belief system. We've got to stop importing them.
So we had it break in the press on the 28th of October that 600 undocumented men will be placed in the used army barracks. Now they say they are disused and that they are abandoned. These army barracks are not. They are used by thousands of cadets, which are now going to be displaced as a result.
We don't want them here. We don't need them here, and they shouldn't be here. And we certainly don't want them anywhere near this town in Wethersfield. 600 of them being busted. I was listening to a show the other day. They're getting bussed in to spend your money in that place over there where they're buying alcohol, they're getting lagered up and then going and assaulting our children, okay? And it's disgusting.
I've been researching RAF Wethersfield, where there is 1,200 undocumented men in a base, and they're being bussed into my community on a daily basis. There's 15 buses running daily between Colchester, Braintree and Chelmsford, and I've been researching this, and last week I was able to get information from an ex-staff member of men partying, breakfast buffets, men getting drunk. I also had photos of the office being smashed up by these men, and also there was a guy wearing a £350 coat who smashed the security guard up and was able to he headbutted the wall, and then he's now in prison.
And then we found out it's not actually just 600 men, it's actually about 2,500 undocumented men that have been placed there. That's a lot of men. They're going to be rotated through, and the Home Office has said, oh, it's only for 12 months.
Hadush Kabatu was released in Chelmsford. I believe he was in Chelmsford prison, and I believe it was just over there where he was photographed, loitering around, talking to other migrants. When he was released, he knew he was a wanted man. He tried to get back into the station 5 times because he knew there was an issue.
Quite cheerful overall, despite some very sad moments being highlighted, people talking about women who have unfortunately lost their lives because of essentially government policy decisions.
When I went to meet the Minister on Wednesday, we asked how much notice are we going to be given before you put these men in those army barracks? We asked if it was going to be 14 days, they said no. So we pushed and said, will you give us 7 days? No, more like 48 hours. We will not know they're in there until they're in there.
I believe it shows complete incompetence on the police's behalf, on the state's behalf, that they're releasing probably the most prolific paedophile in the country, and they let him walk. And he tried to go back in. He tried to say, guys, I'm not meant to be free. And they turned him away. So the state don't know what they're doing. The police are useless.
They have bypassed every policy, every process, every piece of legislation, and are implementing this under what they call emergency powers, which means they don't need planning permission to do anything. They don't need permission to do anything at all. They can just literally do what they want.
I've got 2 young daughters of my own, and unfortunately I've had to tell my daughters not to get off at the bus station in Braintree because I do fear them being attacked or raped, as they've all moved into the hotel nearby.
You can't preach racism and then remain silent when people who are white are being assaulted, and you also cannot preach Christianity when young white girls are being assaulted up and down this country. So that's why I'm here today.
We need to know who's coming in our country. You know, we need background checks done so we know we're safe.
There is women that are changing their routes home, and they message me say they're too scared to leave their house. Now, why should a woman and a child have to change their routes home because they're too scared to leave their house because I have a Kurdish gang member walking our streets?
The Pink Ladies and the Silent Motel protests are not just a thing of the summer. They're not just a protest season. Everyone comes out when it's nice and warm, and then you can go to the pub afterwards. I think people still go to the pub afterwards here.
Everyone is beginning to notice that if they want their country, they have to speak out about it. I mean, the recent U-turns of the Labour Party have only come about by the fact that people have vocalised their displeasure of migration and going to vote accordingly to their lack of cooperation with the people.
A lot of speakers speaking out from all walks of life.
Rhiannon White, 27, murdered leaving the migrant hotel that she worked in. She was stabbed so many times that the screwdriver he used to kill her perforated her brain. She leaves behind a 5-year-old little boy.
I personally don't believe they're illegal immigrants. I believe they're brought in deliberately by the government.
My understanding is that they are Kurdish gangs. There's around 5% of them are genuine asylum seekers, and they're getting bullied by these men.
There's no traffickers in the world would take money from people and then put a life jacket on them.
Stephanie Irons, 23. She was a graduate and had a degree and a master's in clinical psychology. Her parents said she was the kindest, most wonderful daughter that anybody can wish for. Stabbed to death by an illegal migrant.
This is a sign, I think, that the protests are going to continue for the foreseeable future.
And whilst they're letting migrant paedophiles walk on the street, they're locking up patriots. It's completely wrong. There needs to be a complete rehash of the police system, of the government, of everything. It's all got to change.
Katie Fox, 34. Stabbed to death at a bus stop. She was injured so badly, but she hung on for 3 days in intensive care before she died. Her parents described her as the kindest, most wonderful daughter that they could ever wish for.
Well, we've got in excess of 10,000 veterans who sleep rough on the streets of this country every night. If you look at the weather we've had in the last few days, where it's been -5, can you imagine? I can't imagine, I haven't been there myself, to be homeless when it's -5. But we're talking about people who fought for their country, that may well have PTSD, that have suffered, whether that's physical or mental injuries.
You can stand in solidarity. It's not about colour, it's not about race, it's all about protecting young girls. And just because it's happening to British girls today, who's to say it won't happen to black girls tomorrow?
Lainey Williams, 17. Murdered in Wales, stabbed to death. Her parents described her as a rainbow.
It's really, really upsetting.
It's a betrayal, really. It's a total betrayal of everything that we've voted for, anything we've lived for or lived through.
Lily Whitehouse, 19. Murdered in the street by a man who'd already committed 3 rapes and had served 8 years for manslaughter. Allowed out to murder a 19-year-old girl who leaves behind a 6-week-old baby.
I'd like to see Nigel Farage shut all the hotels, shut the HMOs, shut Wethersfield and shut the army bases. If it was down to me, I would have them an offshore processing facility, because obviously you might get asylum seekers from countries. You can't bin the entire system. I would have them processed on some rock in the Atlantic, personally. Have them processed offshore. Don't give them a nice house and a warm hotel room and 3 meals a day. You're going to get gruel. You're going to get a cold military base. You don't want to come to Britain, basically. Go seek asylum elsewhere.
These 5 women have died, have been murdered at the hands of an illegal migrant catastrophe that this government is letting happen. And if they had not been allowed in, these women would still be alive. And that is a fact.
When I see people call these people far right and extreme, I just haven't seen that at all in person. Now, I've been to a couple of these protests. Everybody is actually very, very normal. Just lots of women who really care about the safety of their children.
This is all about our kids as well. It's about our grandchildren. It's about our friends, our lives, our culture.
Yeah, we're only first generation here
English,
ourselves. But we contribute, and all the family have always contributed to the country.
And I want to ask all of you, how many of you knew who these women were before I pointed them out? Only the ones of you who we speak to, the Pink Ladies, because none of them are publicised. Why are they not publicised? Because the government don't want you to know what is going on, and that is a fact.
Little girls in my town centre are being followed, photographed, winked at, and they're having to change their routes home.
It says save our kids over there, right? Because, only yesterday, there's another one. Some Afghan bastard has come into this country and sexually assaulted and raped a 12-year-old girl. I mean, what is going on? We don't want these people here, right? I don't care about these, BBC types who go, well, surely you're not saying they're all rapists. Actually, I am saying they're all fucking rapists,
We refuse to let them bully us. We refuse to let them govern us, because they're not governing us. They're trying to control us.
I mean, I'm now telling my daughters they're not to go out no more.
I look at these girls and I literally want to cry. My daughter is the same age as Lainey. How many of us have got children and daughters and nieces that we want to protect? That we're too scared to let walk home from school? That we're too scared to let to go shopping with their friends? My daughter didn't come home the other night for an hour because she was studying at school. I was so terrified because I couldn't get hold of her. I rang her up like a lunatic, crying, until she answered the phone. Why should we have to live like this?
These men are being picked up to at least 7 o'clock at night, and I want it to stop. So I call for everyone in Colchester, Braintree and Chelmsford to write to your local MP and say you want these buses to stop.
Far from racist, it's just we just want what's best for our country and for our children and our grandchildren. If I'd known what the world would be like today, there is no way on this earth I would have had children of my own.
This is just a jumper, and it's just a name. But this is where it is, and in our hearts is where it all is really, where we feel like we've got to get out and do something. We can't just sit by.
Thousands and thousands of women are raped and sexually assaulted in this country every solitary week and month. They hide it, they don't want to let it out, because they know that if they told us the truth, there would be mayhem on the streets of this country. And I tell you what, if it doesn't get sorted, there will be.
Nothing is going to stop these protests, frankly, until I think all the asylum hotels are closed down, all the HMOs are closed down, all the military bases are closed down, and the so-called asylum seekers are sent back home.
You know, we must protect women at all costs.
And I hope Starmer gets this message that he is thoroughly hated.
I salute you. I salute your cause. I'm part of your cause. We will continue to fight these absolute and utter invaders who should not be in this country, who should be out of this country before the end of the year. We'll do our very best to do it. Keep the faith. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.
I think that the Pink Ladies are a very admirable bunch of women who continue to fight for what is right. And of course, regardless of the weather, regardless of what's happening, if one migrant bus comes in, 10 buses for the Pink Ladies will also come in the same town.
So we've had an amazing protest today in Chelmsford. The Pink Ladies have had a fabulous turnout. Now, Chelmsford is significant because obviously it was just down the road that Hadush Kabatu was accidentally released on his way to be deported. So a lot of residents in this area have been feeling really passionate and have maybe only heard about the Pink Ladies group because of that instance. So protests like this are ever more significant and ever more important to keep spreading awareness. Had some amazing speakers, including Mike Graham, Orla Minihane, based in Bougie, and a brave lady named Emma, who's actually from this area and has seen the problems that has come from the asylum seeker hotel issue. So we've had an amazing day, brilliant interviews, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will see you in the next one.